exactly is your Saturday morning routine, Dave? What time do you roll up here at Hillsborough to start with?
Well, all the lads get in around about 7 o'clock. We're scheduled to start at 8, but we're trying to make an early start. As I said, because you don't know what the weather's going to provide. You might get some really inclement weather overnight, such as forking and spiking. We never do on a Saturday because we've done it during the week. Marking out, we do mark out on a Friday, because if you leave it while Saturday morning it's torrential rain, you've really got a problem. So we usually put lines out on a Friday and leave them out. And then on a Saturday morning, if it does need remarking, we will be able to get straight into it. Just generally tidying up and making sure that everything's all right, such as goalposts, because we did have a goalpost break the other week, an upright. The game after Gary Shelton had absolutely hit the upright with tremendous force, and we found a crack in back of the goal. It's probably just a strain on the nets, because when the nets get very wet, they tend to pull on these, the back supports. So usually Saturdays are mainly checking, but it's a very busy day up to lunchtime. And then I've had to see the referee around about 1 o'clock and go on the pitch with him, make sure everything's all right, and then we just wait for the end of the game and then start all over again, repairing the divots and getting the pitch ready for the next game, what will be Tuesday, the first team match.
Dave, thanks very much indeed. I do hope for your sake that weather forecast proves accurate, and also that there are no bumps and bubbles on the Hillsborough pitch today. And I know that one person who'll be particularly anxious about that is the Sheffield Wednesday goalkeeper Martin Hodge. Early in the morning, Martin, but already a sweat on. What's all this about?
Well, I mean, I'll do a warm-up before every game, and it's been going on now for 3.5 years, so I never change it. Probably just have a good workout, good sweat, hard work for about 3/4 of an hour, just get the feel of things.
And yet, during the 90 minutes, if all goes well, you'll have very little to do.
Well, yes, I hope so, but I mean, what I do is keep myself tuned up. I have a hard workout Friday morning, like a rest Friday afternoon, Friday evening, come in Saturday morning, and instead of just sitting there all the time, getting out and doing something. And I get one of the young lads to come out with me, Kevin Preston, the goalkeeper. He works me. So it's not so bad. Lines he used to do it until he left. Yeah. I think that's what made him leave. I think that's what made him leave. He's fed up again early on a Saturday morning coming out with me.
Is it sheer masochism, or do you actually enjoy it? You've got a smile on now.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Of course I enjoy it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. It's like anything. It's no good pushing yourself if mentally you don't feel it's right. Mentally I feel it's right for me. So that's why I do it, and I feel better, I feel more tuned in of an afternoon.
I know you give the groundsman some stick.
Yes, he gives me a lot of stick though about wrecking his pitch, because he gets it right for a Saturday morning, and I'm afraid I undo some of his work because I wipe away 1 or 2 lines, and also I dig up the pitch a bit, but he's come to live with it in 3.5 years.
Well, he's asked me to give you this actually, Martin. I think some essential information. What's it say there?
What it says is don't do a Coventry. No, it says some rain overnight, cold, windy, blustery showers in the afternoon with a few bright intervals, very windy. If I know Dave, it's wrong, because he's never got one right yet. He said it was going to be a sunny, dry afternoon against Coventry, and it didn't turn out that way.
It didn't. It blew a gale, didn't it? And it's a bit windy here this morning as well, I can tell you.
Well, they say lightning never strikes twice in the same place. I hope it doesn't.
Right, time now to introduce you to Sheffield Wednesday's version of Band Aid. And he's a one-man band as well. Alan Smith, the club physio. Good morning, Alan. Bright and early, as ever, here at Hillsborough, and well prepared. Just have a look at this table here. That's why I said Band Aid. You can cope with quite a few cuts and bruises today by the look of that, to start with, Alan.
Well, this actually, Alan, is the layout for the pre-match preparation. Some of the players have ankles strapped and have rubs, and 1 or 2 may need plasters and rubs with algapan and this type of thing. So this is a basic preparation layout prior to the players taking the pitch.
What kind of a season have you had from an injury point of view so far?
Well, this season's been exceptionally good. From a first-team point of view, it's been very, very good, touch wood.
Right, here we are in what's termed Clouseau's room, Alan. Just tell us why that is.
Yes, well, one day last year I came back early from a training session and caught a thief in the dressing room, and I made a citizen's arrest. And the lads took it upon themselves to put the sign up, and it's stuck.
I thought it was to do with your detection of injuries as well.
Not quite, no.
So the inspector will now take us through some of the aspects of this treatment room at Hillsborough, the physio room. But I think perhaps fans really want to know what's in that magic bag that goes out with you on Saturday afternoon. It's over in the corner there, isn't it? Here we are. Let's have a quick peek inside this and just...
This is for the various requirements that you're presented with on the pitch, and this is things that are used from a first aid point of view, in actual fact. There's a PR spray here that lots of people use in local football, a bottle of water, various sizes of strapping, crepe bandage, Vaseline, a sponge, a wad of cotton wool, triangular bandages, dressings, melalin dressings, and this section here I have 2 or 3 pairs of scissors, tweezers, plasters, smelling salts, various sizes of tape, conforming tape that is, a wad of tie-ups and an airway, a Brook airway.
What single item of all of those is the most commonly in use?
I would have said that possibly the spray.
And yet the traditional view perhaps is of the old magic sponge. Yes. Here it is. Yes. It's the traditional football trainers or physios stock in trade, is that. Yes. It's just, I mean, it's a con trick, isn't it?
Well, it's certainly not a con trick, but it's practical. It's practical. The most important thing, and this is what people may not be aware of, but the most important thing when you're dealing with someone on the pitch is to diagnose the injury. It's nothing to do with the bag as such, really, to be honest. It's professionally, you must diagnose the injury accurately and inform the player of the nature of his injury and whether he can continue safely or whether he can't. And that's the most important thing. The actual treatment on the pitch is really minimal.
Is what happens when the player is desperate to continue. He makes light of it, but you think it's serious and that he should come off. Is that sometimes a battle of wills?
We discuss the situation. I usually win.
Hillsborough is busy preparing to entertain today's guests. Bob Gorrell, marketing manager.
Well, this is the sponsors' lounge, which we on match days we use for our match day sponsor, which today is Charles Clark, the Vauxhall people in Sheffield. What basically happens, 30 people arrive in here on match days from 12:30 onwards to a champagne reception served by our lovely ladies in the corner here. And from there, we take them a tour around the facilities, the dressing room, the boardroom, down the tunnel, let them get the feel of team that's actually arriving at Sheffield Wednesday. And then they return back into the lounge for lunch, wines with the lunch. They then serve these young ladies again, they take them up into the stand, look after them in the stands throughout the match, bring them down after the game.
Saturday is also the busiest day of the week at Wednesday's souvenir shop, and there are many hard workers behind the scenes who've given a lifetime service to the club. Like Joan, shop manager for 20 years. And Mac McLeod, chief steward, who's been welcoming VIP guests to Hillsborough since 1940. Dot and Betty, 2 of the Hillsborough laundry ladies, with over 43 years service between them. Early on match day morning, sitting in the dugout where 1 or 2 anxious faces might be peering this afternoon, including perhaps the Sheffield Wednesday manager Howard Wilkinson, who's with me now. Looking very relaxed, Howard, but that maybe doesn't reflect the way you will be feeling later in the afternoon when you're sitting in this very spot.
No, although every Saturday morning and Friday night I tell myself this time it will be different. It isn't different. Once the game starts, you do get very emotionally involved. Although you try to stay as clear-headed as possible, because afterwards, when you look at some of the things you maybe said or thought you'd seen or thought were happening, you realise that you were greatly affected by what was going on at the time, rather than what was actually happening on the pitch. I'm not very good at it. I'm getting better at staying up there. The temptation to dive down here as soon as something looks remotely wrong is very great. But really, everyone knows that by 3 o'clock on Saturday, there's very little you can do. When I first came here, I spent most of the time in here. Well, I decided towards the middle of last season that we had enough lunatics in the club without me adding to the role. So I tried to stay up there. I know they don't want me down here anyway. When I come down here, I only drive them crazy. So I'm better off out the road.
Saturday morning, Howard, you're here. Quite a few people at Sheffield Wednesday are here, but what on earth do you find to do? Surely that's Joe Public's view. There's nothing for you to do until the team comes out at 3, is there?
Well, I arrived here at 10:15, and you know, as is usual, I usually get away from here at 12, and during all of that time I have been busy. I have had a bath. I deal with all the bits and pieces, the trivia, telephone messages, last things that need writing down, any injuries that may have cropped up over Friday night, anything that's cropped up over Friday night, Saturday morning that may affect this afternoon's game, so that when I leave here at 12, between 12 and 2 o'clock, all I have to concentrate on is Sheffield Wednesday versus Luton Town.
The scene switches to the hotel where the Sheffield Wednesday players and management traditionally meet on Saturday lunchtimes before a match. For lunch, obviously, but for other reasons too. Just come with me this way and you'll see that really it's all about relaxing and just getting in the mood for the game of football to come. Inevitably, Brian, you've watched the football preview programmes on television. I would think a must for every professional footballer in the country on a Saturday lunchtime.
Well, I think it's obviously it's nice to see a little bit of football before the game in the afternoon, and nice to see some of the talking points that inevitably brought up on a Saturday.
Sheffield Wednesday are often talking points themselves, and sometimes for critical reasons. You'll have watched the Saint and Greavesy today, who are definitely not members of the Sheffield Wednesday fan club. I think that can be said.
That's right. Well, I don't think they were up till possibly last Sunday against Liverpool in the live game, and I think we changed a few opinions last Sunday. And noticing on the TV today, they had some kind words for us, which was unusual for them.
And long overdue, I would think.
Well, yeah, I think it's taken us a long time to sway the public and the media that we're not the kick and rush side that they give us, or they say we are. You know, I think we're a better footballing side than they give us credit for, really.
Now, I think there are a lot of popular misconceptions and myths about what players do, and particularly what players eat on the day of a match. You've had your lunch here, Brian.
Yeah.
Was it the massive steak that everybody thinks you have?
No, it's all basically eggs and beans, and personally I have cornflakes, but most of the lads have omelettes and scrambled eggs, things like that.
Things like eggs and beans are supposed to be energy-producing foods anyway, aren't they?
I don't know.
They seem to work in your case,
Well,
down the flank.
People say steaks are, but I think it's whatever you feel comfortable with, really, you know. I mean, David Hurst has bacon sandwiches, so...
And how much do you actually sit and think about the game and your prospective opponent and that kind of thing before a game?
Well, on a Friday, the manager normally has a team talk about the opposition, and if there's any what he considers relevant points to make out, you know, for instance, set pieces, or someone's actually having a particularly good time or something like that, then, you know, he makes you aware of it, and obviously you tend to think about it the day or two before the game, so that by the time you get to the game, you're fully aware of what's involved, really, or what your job is to try and do, whether stamp out a centre forward or to stop someone from a set piece, or work hard to get forward in certain positions, or, you know, various things that could be going on in the game at any particular moment in time.
It's Sheffield Wednesday versus Luton Town, and with me is the referee, Mr. Ian Hendrick from Preston. The pitch, sir. Does it look good?
Oh, it's in perfect condition. Perfect condition. I should imagine it could take a good stud. We've just been out now and inspected the markings, checked that the penalty areas and the corner flags and the goal nets are in first-class order, which they are. We don't foresee any problems at all, unless there's a sudden change in the weather, and even that, there shouldn't be any problems. It's in beautiful condition. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't see a good game of football today. The game's all about the human element, and we can only give. I can't say we. I mean, me as a referee and my colleagues only give what we consider to be right at the time. You know, okay, you might look back on a video and say, blimey, I could have done that or I could have done that, but you've only got a split second to make your decision. And contrary to what other people might say, it is, in our opinion, an honest opinion, and therefore we have to abide by it. But the game's all about footballers,
Yes.
all about spectators, and all about the human element of the game. And And I think once we take that away from it, I think we'll lose a lot.
Basil Jones explains the organisation involved in coping with big crowds on match days.
We use approximately 100 gatemen combined with 200 stewards. They're in 90 minutes, or we start sending out 90 minutes before kick-off on the normal Saturday match. If it's anything special like Manchester United, Liverpool, that type of game, then we'll ask them to come in earlier, and they will do.
We look in the press and it says a gate of 45,000. 45,000. How do you arrive at a figure of, say, 45,000?
We count absolutely everybody going through a turnstile, with the exception of club guests and the press.
So every time that turnstile clicks...
Every time a turnstile clicks, we're there, we're counting it.
I see.
It includes season ticket holders, shareholders, as well as the day-paying patron.
How quickly can you assess the gate?
We'll have a gate figure by 4:30.
It's now 1:45 and the players start arriving at the ground from their hotel. Their progress delayed by autograph hunting fans. And waiting for them is that dressing room, empty at the moment with kits neatly laid out, but shortly it becomes a hive of activity. "20 minutes to kick-off time. The crowd's building up and the streets outside are busy as fans hurry for programmes. Meanwhile, a lucky young owl, today's mascot, 9-year-old Warren Brewster, gets the treat of a lifetime and some instruction for when he takes the field with the players.
Well, good afternoon from Hillsborough. This afternoon, Sheffield Wednesday versus Luton Town. Toss-up just being made. Martin Hodge just not quite happy with it. Up goes the coin again. Just wait to see which way they are going to kick. And it's Sheffield Wednesday to kick towards the spine cup. Not the favourite way for Wednesday, actually. It is a favourite way, but they like to kick that way in the second half. Looks across. And away we go. It's Sheffield Wednesday to kick off. Long ball. Lottie Madden. And the first free kick of the match against Lottie Madden. Good long ball there by Ashley Grimes. Picks out Madonna. Sheffield Wednesday's Siggy Johnson from Iceland, putting Mel Sterling away. Good ball there from Mel Sterling. Headed down there, comes across to Megson, but he couldn't get there. Just at the back of David Hurst. That's the first real good attack by Sheffield Wednesday. We've been playing 4 minutes. Worthington picking the remnants up. Back from Megson. Oh, and it's cut out there by Ashley Graham. Siggy Johnson all along the floor, and a good effort there, bringing loud applause from the Spine Cop. Quite a lot of the play this afternoon in the first 20 minutes has been down that left-hand side, but it's still no score. Oh, and Marwood swings a boot at it. No offside, but he'd got to pivot right round. He'd no other chance than to just hit it and hope, and that's what he did. And this looks dangerous. The number 8 still got it, but Wednesday very, very lucky there. Marwood, Sterling, and a nice effort there by the Wednesday scorer, top scorer should I say, Lee Chapman. Peter Nicholas to Foster. Oh, and that's the second time there the number 8's been through. Brian Steen through again and shoots wide. But the ball fell nicely for him, and I think you should say that he should have done better with that. Mo Sterling. Oh, and an excellent header there by Lee Chapman, but he just grazes the top of the bar, and I think that you can safely say we've been playing 42 minutes, and that's the best effort we've had. Shelton wide to Worthington. Wider still to Marwood. Oh, and a good ball there, but whistle's gone for half-time. Paul Hart. Oh, Mel Sterling. And a beautiful play there by Laurie Madden. Siggy Johnson. And he wasn't offside, Chapman, and it's Wednesday. Another good header, but not quite good enough once again. But again, good outfield football there by Sheffield Wednesday. Oh, can Brian Marwood get in here? Well, he could, but he had to go too far wide. Back from Megson to Sterling. Sterling, 2 men round him. Yes, Megson puts it in eventually. Well, it went to Paul Hart. It went to Megson, and Megson made no mistake about it. That's 29 minutes into the second half. Nice play there by Siggy Johnson. Not a good ball back, but he managed to control it. And then he gets a good ball out to Glyn Snowden. Now, what's Glyn going to do? He's got Nigel Worthington coming across. It comes to Megson, and Megson couldn't just get it, swerve it round. Well, he knew what he wanted to do, and he nearly did it. Hart, cut out, picked up by Siggy Johnson, but ball out for a Luton throw. Referee has another look at his watch. And that's it. Well, the match finishes. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Luton 0. A match that Wednesday have played some good football in patches in the second half. In the first half, they could well have gone in 2 goals down with a couple of very good breaks by Brian Steen. We had a good header in the first half by Lee Chapman. The second half, it was Wednesday's turn to attack the Leppings Lane goal, and we got the all-important goal by Gary Megson. Got the right Christian name, wrong surname. Gary Megson, after 74 minutes. It was a bit of a melee there, but Megson found the net with a shot. 74 minutes, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Luton 0.
A hard battle, a difficult game, but an invaluable 3 points won. The players now relax. Sunday morning and the match verdicts. Of course, the man who grabs the limelight is the 73rd minute match winner, whose goal closed the gap on the leaders, Gary Megson. The trophy room here at Hillsborough, though sadly none of the pots on display are recent. In fact, the Wednesday revival dates back to April 1976, when Wednesday came within a whisker of dropping into the 4th Division. To avoid it, they had to win their last game of the season against Southend, and that they duly did on a memorable night. There was promise of a move in the right direction the following season as Wednesday finished 8th. But it needed a new manager, Jack Charlton, to rebuild from the bottom. After a moderate 2 seasons, during which young players were groomed to replace older, experienced stopgaps, Charlton took Wednesday to promotion in 3rd place in 1980. Next season, back in the 2nd, produced a promising 10th. Then a near miss on promotion the following year. Charlton eventually left in 1983, the first stage of the rehabilitation completed. And it was former Wednesday player, Howard Wilkinson, who took the club back to the promised land. In Wilkinson's first season, Wednesday went up in style with 88 points, just pipped for the 2nd Division title by Chelsea. A year later, 8th in the 1st Division. Then last season, 5th place. And but for the ban on English clubs, that would have been good enough to get the Owls back into European competition. Now, in their 3rd season back in the big time, Sheffield Wednesday are a major force for the future.
Like you, I have an ambition. It's a burning ambition. I want your club, my club, not only to win the FA Cup, also Division 1 Championship, and remain at the top of the tree for many years to come. That requires work and support. We'll do the work. Let us have your support.
Ultimately, a club like this has to start, you know, having some silverware somewhere. I don't think really we're too far from it. Cup competitions are always dodgy things. They hinge on one decision, circumstances, maybe 24 hours before the game. Up until recently, our form in cups has been good. Our form in leagues has been consistently good. I don't see any reason for that to change. I think we will continue to improve. The improvement will be less dramatic. But then, you know, from 2nd Division to 1st is a jump of 42 places. From 1st up to 8th, from 8th up to 5th. Now it really starts getting tough. You know, now we're in to improve. Now we've got to be in. People have got to be saying around about February or March they've got a chance of the championships. That's what improvement now means. In the latter stages, people have got to be looking at us and 2 or 3 or 4 of the clubs and saying which one of those is going to win it. And when you think of the people who've been involved in that in the past, Liverpool, Everton, Manchester United, Tottenham and so on, just gives you some idea of how high that standard is.
Can you reach it this season?
I don't see why not.
Hardest regime of any football club in the country, so it's said. Is that myth or fact?
Oh, it's part myth, part fact, I don't know. We just train and do what I think footballers should do, and train how footballers should train. When I first came, I think it all stems from the early days and the running, and you know, I mean, really what happened was I just chose to run out in the country because we are blessed with some of the most beautiful countryside in Britain. I just chose to work out there rather than in here, and as a result of that, a sort of myth built up about, you know, 26-mile marathons across moors and so on and so forth. We work hard. Some might work harder. A lot might work less harder. I don't know, but I mean, we haven't had a long stint today.
Just an hour and a half, but in preparation for a match in a couple of days' time on a week in which you've had, well, a midweek first team match and a reserve game too.
Yes, that's one of the problems. I mean, a football match, a 90-minute football match, is a tiring event. It's a stamina event. You know, it's an endurance event. And it's tiring. And when you've got a squad of maybe 22, 24 players, 11 of them play Saturday, 11 of them play Tuesday, 11 of them play Wednesday, Thursday morning, they're not always feeling it, and anyway, it wouldn't do them any good. And bearing in mind, we've got another 90 minutes on Saturday down at QPR on the plastic pitch. So you're always torn between what you'd like to do and what you can do.
You mentioned earlier the beautiful countryside around here. It might be beautiful to look at, but it may not be so beautiful to run over, and I think that's where the Wednesday legend for hard running uphill and down dale has come from. I think the players have spread the gospel. It's something you have to live with. Do you like the reputation?
Well, I'm not ashamed of it. No, I'm not ashamed of it. Sometimes I see things written like the fittest team in the country, as if it's something to be ashamed of. Why should we be ashamed of being the fittest team in the country? If we are that, who's to say we are that? I don't know if that's the impression we create. And I'm proud of that. If we can add the most skillful in the country, the best organised in the country, the most imaginative in the country to those, you know, then I'll be delighted. Being the best at anything should be everyone's aspiration, shouldn't it? I mean, no matter what you do, if you're going to do it and you like doing it, try and be the best. Try and do it the best.
There are rewarding times when all the hard work on the training ground comes right, like at Newcastle earlier this season, with Wednesday sporting a new look away strip.
Sterland, Chamberlain, Sterland, back to Chamberlain. Shut in the penalty area, waiting for the cross. He's there and scores. So Carl Shutt opens the scoring. Gregory with the corner. To the near post, flicked on. Shutt again, and it's in! I think that's Paul Hart with the goal. Yes, it is. It's Paul Hart who's come up from the defence. No, it isn't. It's Mel Sterland. It's a near post corner. It's in there and scores. That's a goal for Sheffield Wednesday. Just as I was saying that Sheffield Wednesday were carrying the goal to Newcastle, the game to Newcastle, Carl Shutt scores number 3 for Sheffield Wednesday in the last minute.
It's 10 o'clock on Friday, November the 28th, and the team are preparing to leave for an overnight stay in London before tomorrow's league match at Queen's Park Rangers. I managed a quick word with coach-driver Peter King before the departure. How long have you been doing the job for the team?
It's my first full season with Sheffield Wednesday. I took them 2 or 3 times last season, but this season we have got the job, and I've done it every match so far.
I should think the mood on the way back particularly depends on one thing and one thing alone, the result.
It certainly does, yeah. Definitely, if they lose, it's sometimes a rather sombre and quiet coach. A good result, like the Tottenham result, that was a great result. They enjoyed themselves, and the same way, obviously, when they win, it is a lot happier coach driving back.
Let's hope you can do your bit to drive them on the road to a title this season.
It would be very nice indeed, yeah.
You stop you can pick up one at Woodall.
Lee, just the start of the journey down to London. I thought the cards would be out by now. What's all this homework?
Well, I'm not allowed to gamble because I lose too much.
Huh?
Every time I play Mel, it takes about 40 quid off me, so I've packed it in now.
You got wise to that, have you?
Yeah.
So what's all this?
Well, this is, you know, I always like to be thinking about the game at all times, and this is a bit of coaching that I'm doing on Sunday, so I'm just preparing it.
What's the rest of the journey hold? Does it get a bit tedious?
I shall venture out and have a packet of crisps in a minute, probably, and a cup of coffee, and probably a bit of breakfast as well, yeah.
We've heard all about this building up diet that you're on. I've noticed all this food down in the corner here. We've got about 15 buns and a great big flan down there, and that's just Lee Chapman's, by the way.
That's
Is that
just
right?
mine. The lads have got theirs down the front.
I see, right. You're sitting in the right place, aren't you?
Yes, I always sit here. Best spot for the food.
Does it get a bit tedious, though, the long journeys?
It does when you're sitting next to people like Mark Chamberlain and Paul Hart. It gets really tedious, yeah, but I suppose that's one of the hazards of the job, really.
Right, we'll talk to one of the hazards of the job, Mark Chamberlain, in just a moment. But first, the bloke who's made you skint on the card scene. That's Mel Sterland, who's sitting over here. Lee, thanks very much indeed. Get on with the work. Let's have a chat with Mel Sterland, who's just sitting over here, all quiet. And is that true, all this money you keep taking off poor old Lee there?
That's right, old Choppy's had a couple of games with us. First game he had, well, I managed to take £40 off him, which Chappy won't play again. Because I took £40 off him, so he said he's not going to play no more.
Some good card players among footballers. It's the traditional thing to do, isn't it, on an away trip?
That's right, well, it passes time on, you see, especially when you got to travel down to London. Meggie likes to have a game of cards, Shelley, Hodger and myself, so we just like to play cards just to pass a bit of time on.
It's 2 days away from home, isn't it? How do players' wives feel about that? This is a Friday, you're playing tomorrow, you won't get back till late Saturday.
That's right, well, my missus is expecting a baby, so she's expecting it soon, so it's a bit hard for me and my missus, but she just goes to mother-in-law's and stops there.
It's a way of life, though, that the families have got to get used to, presumably.
That's right, yeah, well, it's his jobs, it's his living, so they have to make do with it.
Mel, you haven't got the cards out yet. You're looking for more potential victims, are you?
That's right, yeah, well, just waiting. I'm just sussing a few lads out. We'll be having a game soon, I should imagine.
And now the man who makes journeys go so quickly for Lee Chapman and gives him a lot of sparkling company, Mark Chamberlain here. He's nodding off over there, Mark. What's up with you?
Well, it's a standing joke, isn't it? Every time Chappie talks to somebody, they fall asleep.
I don't know about standing joke. It looks like a lying joke from where I'm sitting.
Yeah, he lies all the time, you're right.
So how do you pass the time on these long journeys around the country? I noticed you're reading an article about yourself this morning in one of the papers.
Yeah, so I've just read a little article in the Express. Me, I pass the time by reading the papers and falling asleep.
I see.
Yeah.
So it's really true what he says about your company,
No, his company's boring. It's boring.
He's doing homework, you've got your nose in a paper and you're about to drop off, so we better leave you and let you snooze away, Mark.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks very much indeed. And now one of the most patient men on the coach not only has to endure the long journeys, but maybe has to endure a long wait to get into the Sheffield Wednesday first team. Kevin Pressman, the reserve goalkeeper. Martin Hodge in front of you. I think he might be good for another 15 or 20 years yet.
Oh, I mean, I hope not. I mean, as you say, I'm waiting a long time, but that's it. I've got to wait. You know, I mean, when the opportunity comes, I'll have to take it.
You're new to the life of a professional footballer, aren't you? Just 18, I think.
I'm 19 now. Yeah, I'm new to it. I'm learning the ropes and everything to it. I mean, everything's new. It's great.
That includes taking a fair bit of stick to start with, does it?
Oh, yes. I get so much stick, it's untrue.
As the sweet papers are coming over here.
Yeah.
You've also had lots of advice on what you're going to say to us.
I don't know about that. These lot, they don't know you about anything.
So, a long journey ahead, followed by an overnight stay. Finally, at 2:15 on Saturday afternoon, the players are testing their foothold on QPR's artificial pitch, accompanied by noisy support from a large following of fans. Some of the players even take time out from the warm-up to sign autographs. And above the noise of the crowd, we get a fan's eye view.
Thanks. Okay. What score's going to be today? Didn't get know him. 5-0. 2-1. Who's going to score then? Chapman. Again, he didn't score last week, did he? Yeah. Chamberlain, if he plays. Chamberlain. I don't know if he's playing or not. Did a good trip down then?
Yeah, it's been alright, watching videos.
You took most away games? You're all over? What's the best one been this year, you reckon? Liverpool. Did you go? Didn't you watch it on TV? You went? Great. Okay. Enjoy the match, lads. Cheers. See ya.
Well, it's QPR to kick off. QPR there, the number 10, John Byrne, you can see in picture. Gary Bannister. Early ball there for Dawes. Lee. Good ball through there for Gary Bannister. Bannister tries one and he scores! And in the first minute, it's Gary Bannister. Wow! He only got 6, as I say, he got 6 goals. He's now got 7 goals. 1 minute, and I don't know whether Wednesday actually touched the ball. So that's an uphill battle now for Sheffield Wednesday. QPR building up, bringing a long ball over. Well in there, and Byrne tipped it in. And another very, very good chance there as Byrne was quite wide awake to it. He lobbed it over Martin Hodge as he came out, but luckily for Wednesday, his direction was just a little bit awry. Otherwise, it would have been 2-0. 4 minutes on the watch, and another chance here. And really, Wednesday's defence being caught square again there. Well, that was the number 2, I think, Warren Neal, coming from very, very deep and getting his foot right under the ball. Megson, and a good firm shot there, and that was a good effort. That was Carl Bradshaw, and that was the first effort Wednesday have had. 12 minutes on the clock, and that's the first time that Wednesday have looked dangerous at all. Nigel Worthington, Trevor Fenwick, Byrne, and then number 5 ends it again. Well, that's number 2. And that was it. Centre half, Alan MacDonald at the far post. Nobody on him. So Sheffield Wednesday now have got an uphill task. Warren Neal looking for movement, not finding any yet. Ball breaks nice spot for Warren Neal in actual fact. The number 2 gets his centre in. That was a good firm run there by the number 2 Warren Neal. Sammy Lee, that's old Liverpool favourite, headed away there by Hart. Comes to number 4, and another brilliant save there by Martin Hodge. That was the number 4 Martin Allen following up, hammering the ball across. Martin Hodge finding himself across goal, give away another corner. Bradshaw. Wednesday having to funnel back, but it's Shelton. Good header, and it was only just wide there. Header there by Glenn Snowden. crept up on the near post. Lynn Snowden inside to Shelton. Crossfield ball. Sterling tried the quick one, it didn't quite get through, but it's Laurie Madden. Sterling gets his cross in, and it's a bad defensive error there, and it's Carl Bradshaw who bangs the ball in. Well, they've got that one back. They really needed it. 43 minutes. It's Queen's Park Rangers 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1. That's given Wednesday something to build on. Comes across there, it's cleared, and that's the final whistle for this half, and it means that Queen's Park Rangers go in leading Sheffield Wednesday by 2-1. Throw in to Glenn Snowden. Now, can Glenn get it in? He can, it's centred, but it's the big number 5 there, but he only gets it as far as Siggy Johnson. Siggy Johnson to Glenn Snowden. Comes to Bradshaw, Bradshaw in. And this time the goalkeeper hangs on to it as Chapman came in case there was any ricochet, but a little bit better attacking movement that by Sheffield Wednesday. Out to Neil, back to Sammy Lee, but Sammy Lee doesn't get there, but he gets the ball back again and puts a lovely ball out. Nice play here by Queen's Park Rangers, it's charged down. Hart gets the ball away, but only as far as the big number 5, MacDonald. MacDonald hammers it in, and a brilliant shot and an equally good save there by Martin Hodge. Number 10 Byrne, but Sterling quick enough to get back and play the ball back to Hart. And this is fast and furious now. Well in from Chapman, comes to Megson, and a good save there. Excellent shot, good football there from Sheffield Wednesday as Megson found space, hammered it, and a good save there by David Seasman. Good header away there by Chris Morris, out by Megson to Siggy Johnson. Siggy Johnson looking for space, finds it in Chapman, then gets it back again to Worthington. Worthington a good cross in, and it's a good header, and it's in there! Yes, it's Chapman, and that was excellent football by Sheffield Wednesday. And from being dead and buried, 62 minutes, they draw level. Well, the Sheffield Wednesday supporters absolutely going crazy at the back of the goal, as well they might, because at 40 minutes, it looked all over for Wednesday. 43 minutes, they pull one back, and they've gone from strength to strength. And it's down this right-hand side again. It's with Warren Neal. Back header, good ball here for the number 11, but Chrissy Morris tackling for the ball. And then the ball comes across. And an excellent save again by Martin Hodge.
A hard-earned point in a fine Wednesday fight back. A few bumps and bruises, but a happy dressing room. Glyn Snowden talks to Dean Pepple, giving his verdict of the match live on Radio Hallam to thousands of Wednesday fans listening at home in Sheffield.
I don't think any of you touched the ball before Rangers were 1 goal up.
That's right, yeah, you know, we've come out and we're a bit cold. They've caught us on the nap, on the off, and like I said, they've gone and scored within a matter of seconds.
With 2 goals down inside 30 minutes, and in all honesty, it looks as if Rangers could have run up quite a few more. Was it the surface, or was it just a matter of the team not getting it together?
I don't think, like I say, you can blame the surface, you know, because we've come back and we've done well. But I think in the first 15 minutes it took us a bit to get it together, and after that, you know, they've gone 2-0 up, and I think we started getting it together a bit. Like I said, they could have gone with another couple of goals, and luckily they didn't. And Martin kept us in the game with a couple of good saves, and then like I said, we've just been putting it together, and we got a goal just before half time.
That was a rather special goal for Carl Bradshaw, making his league debut. He had looked very good on the ball up to that point, but then he put the icing on the cake just 2 minutes before the break by taking a goal poacher's opportunity at the near post after Mel Sterling had done some good work down the right.
That's right, like I say, Mel did very well. You know, he got forward on that occasion and hit a good low across the box. And looked as though the keeper had got it, and then it come out of his hands, and like every goal scorer, you know, Carl was there to put it in the net, and it was a good goal for us, you know, just before half time, get that boost we need.
The second half, you looked at a different side. You were more in control. You were keeping Rangers at bay. And although there were 1 or 2 half chances, really it looks as if Wednesday might be able to go forward and get the equaliser. Sure enough, it came in 63 minutes. It was Lee Chapman with his 11th of the season.
That's right. You know, Lee can't stop scoring lately. He's getting in that box, and he keeps telling us to get in that box for him. He'll score goals, and we've done it today. And he's put one in for us, and it was equaliser, like you say. Once we got that, you know, we were going for a win. We didn't come here for a draw, and we thought we were going to do it. But overall, you know, at the end of the day, we're happy with a point.
Well, it could have been anybody's game in the last quarter of an hour or so. Chances at both ends. And you still haven't laid this London bogey. You haven't won down in London for 4 years now. You've got the opportunity to put things right in a fortnight's time at Wimbledon.
That's right. Even Wimbledon's not going to be no push-up, you know. I mean, London are no club. Because I hear they're going to beat Manchester United today 1-0, so we're going to go out there, but before we've got Aston Villa, so we'll get that over with first, and once we've beat them, then we'll look forward to beating Wimbledon.
Glenn, thanks very much indeed.
Cheers, Steve. Thanks a lot.
3.5 hours later, and the team arrived back at Hillsborough, the end of another Saturday in the life of a professional football club.
The end of the day, Gary.
Yes.
Feeling tired?
Yes.
Where are you for now?
Home.
And what is it? Feet up?
Probably take the wife out for a couple of drinks afterwards.
Well, you've not got a lot of time because you've had a heavy day, haven't you?
That's right, yeah, but probably just have a meal or something and go and relax.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
And that's about it. The end of our special behind-the-scenes look at 2 weeks in the life of Sheffield Wednesday. A candid view of the things you don't see from the stands and terraces. But don't forget that it's from there that the whole place comes alive. Until the next match, bye-bye.